Rohan Campbell and Andy Malichik star in a Halloween Ends interview from ScreenRant.com. Let's go ahead and check out the interview and react to it.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Halloween Ends.
That's correct.
That was a ride. I saw it yesterday.
Yeah.
Wild ride.
I want you to tell me a little bit about... I want you to tell me a little about everything. But what I want to ask is, people who are not on movie sets have an idea of what it's like shooting a gory and violent, horrific, harrowing sequence. But you're having a lot of fun, aren't you?
A ridiculous amount of fun.
Yeah.
An
It's partially
unbelievable
just
amount
how
of fun.
David kind of creates his sets. He has spent, I feel like, many years fine-tuning the crew and the people that he brings onto a set. And the crew that we had is the same crew we had for 3 films. It's the same crew that he works with in other ventures. You know, I feel like David always puts people together that are, 1, very good at their job, 2, very, very present, and 3, like, good attitudes. And so everyone is kind of fun.
There's
and
so
having
many
a good
funny
time.
people.
I was just thinking about just that notion of something being, harrowing for the audience, but so much fun for you guys, and how there's always 2 ways to look at everything in Halloween, from Michael Myers himself being the manifestation of a supernatural evil, or the product of, any number of psychological whatever you want. And, I was telling David before that there's a scene in the diner where you escalate a confrontation. And in that moment, I went, yeah, like kick his ass.
Yeah.
Charming, beautiful young woman who was sitting next to me went, oh, we shouldn't escalate. No. And I was like, uh-oh, I think she hates me now. But, tell me a little bit about how about leaving that room for interpretation, but building your character. Do you know what's going on, or do you have to play it both ways?
I think you just put it
So
beautifully.
much relationship.
Yeah, it's relationship. And what's special about this movie, and what I fully wanted and intended to do, is create a movie that, like you said, everyone can take their choice out of it. And everyone can have their own narrative of what happens, and what's appropriate, or I don't know, what's understandable, I think, is, and you said it beautifully.
So you can really tell that they're having fun in this interview, but basically the interviewer was asking a question saying basically how he feels like the audience can interpretate what they want out of this film. And I don't really get the question. I don't really get Rohan's answer saying they were making this film to basically have the audience interpret how they want to see everything. And I'm not gonna lie, majority of the people did interpret this film as just a bad film. So if that's what you guys were going for, kudos to y'all. But if that's not what you guys were going for and you want us to feel something else for Halloween Ends, there were some people saying that they did like the Allison and Corey Cunningham storyline. There were some very few people who liked the Laurie Strode and Michael Myers storyline. But overall, Halloween Ends is not a, high regarded film in the Halloween franchise.
It's Michael Myers, it's Laurie Strode, but this trilogy belongs to you.
Oh, that's very kind, and I would disagree.
Wow. So this interviewer is glazing his ass off. He's basically saying that Allison was the anchor to Halloween, the trilogy, the David Gordon Green trilogy. That is reaching, my boy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many through lines throughout everything, but your arc especially is just one of being nurtured and kind of taking that and carrying it with you. Tell me a little bit about the responsibility of being an anchor point for Halloween, the entire saga, because this is the end.
It has been, I think that if I think about it that way, I probably would do a very poor job. It's interesting because it's something where I feel like definitely in the first film, Allison is very much kind of the straight man. And you get that a little bit through the second as well, minus the final kind of confrontation she has during Halloween Kills. And in this film, what's so beautiful is that having the 4-year gap, you allowed a space to kind of explore where she is now. And there were so many conversations and so much time and care that was put into kind of designing what happened in those 4 years and understanding how we go from the porch after your mother is killed to where you meet her in Halloween Ends. And it was a lot of fun getting to collaborate with David on that and collaborate with Jamie, and how we kind of built our relationship to make sense of it all, and to work with Rowan as well on building that for this one. This is a fun journey for Allison. It's just a girl who has a lot of trauma and pain, that even though she's seemingly okay and self-aware and can probably doctor speak like what is going on with her psychologically, but it's that pain that doesn't go away. It lives inside. And you're able to kind of, when she's presented with events and new relationships, you're able to kind of like take a peek under the surface and see what's really boiling.
So I think Andi Matichak did a great job in Halloween Ends. I think that Allison was a great storytelling character. I think that her relationships that she had with Laurie and with Corey Cunningham was really good. I enjoyed her performances in the earlier films, and I think she gets a bad rep sometimes, both her and Rohan Campbell. They're great actors and actresses. I think that with the bad story, with the bad writing surrounding their characters, that they really get a bad rep sometimes. And I think that's why I kind of did this video today. I wanted to show an interview and show how they're really good actors and actresses. They really care about the storytelling, and I think they did their job. I think that bad writing is just bad writing, and I think that David Gordon Green and the rest of the writing crew on Halloween Ends just did a terrible job. And I think that with this interview, you can see that they really were told to give the audience a choice. They can choose to focus in on Michael Myers and Laurie Strode, or they can choose to focus in on Corey Cunningham and Allison. And I think that's what they were trying to tell us in this interview. Like, this movie is definitely going to be different. It's not going to be your normal, slasher versus final girl. It's basically slasher versus slasher, and final girl with the broken boy. So it was a lot to take in with Halloween Ends. But I think all in all, it's still a bad movie. I won't say it's a bad movie. It's a good movie. It's not a great movie. It's definitely a bad ending to the franchise. But the saving grace in this is going to be Andi and Rohan Campbell, Allison and Corey. They were the best part and the worst part of Halloween Ends, if that makes sense. So thank you so much for joining me today, for checking out this Halloween Ends interview from ScreenRant.com. I'm your Hellmaster Dede. Follow your Hellmaster for more horror content. Subscribe to the channel. I'm your Hellmaster Dede, and I'll see you Hellcats and Hellhounds in the next one. Peace.